Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head, imagining what you should have said differently? Or stayed awake at night thinking about problems that don't even exist yet? That's not random. That's called overthinking, and it's one of the most common habits of the human mind. But why do we do it? Why does the brain get stuck in loops of thoughts, worries, and scenarios? And more importantly, can we actually stop it? What is overthinking? Overthinking is when your mind goes beyond useful thinking and enters a cycle of repetitive, unproductive thoughts. Instead of solving a problem, you keep replaying it. Instead of making a decision, you analyze every possible outcome. Psychologists usually divide overthinking into two types: rumination, thinking about the past, and worry, thinking about the future. Rumination sounds like, why did I say that? What if I made a mistake? What do they think about me? Worry sounds like, what if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if something bad happens? Both feel different, but they use the same mental mechanism, a brain trying to protect you. Why the brain overthinks? The human brain evolved for survival, not happiness. Thousands of years ago, thinking too much about danger was useful. If you imagine worst-case scenarios, you avoided predators, you prepared for threats, you stayed alive. So your brain developed a system called the Threat Detection Network. Its job is simple: scan reality for potential problems. The problem is, this system doesn't know the difference between a lion in the forest and an awkward message you sent. To your brain, both are treated as danger, so it activates stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline and forces your attention to stay on the problem. That's why overthinking feels urgent. Your brain thinks it's helping you survive, even if the threat is imaginary. Why overthinking gets worse at night? Most people say, I only overthink at night. That's not a coincidence. During the day, you have distractions, you talk, you move, you consume information. At night, silence, darkness, no external stimulation. So the brain turns inward, and when the world goes quiet, your thoughts become louder. Neuroscientists call this default mode network. It's the brain system responsible for self-reflection, memory, imagination, inner dialogue. It activates when you're not doing anything, which is exactly why the mind becomes most active when the body is still. That's why silence feels uncomfortable for many people, because silence forces you to hear yourself. Why some people overthink more than others. Not everyone overthinks the same way. Research shows overthinking is more common in people who are highly intelligent, highly creative, emotionally sensitive, perfectionists, people with high empathy. These brains are better at simulation. They can imagine more possibilities, more outcomes, more perspectives, which sounds like a superpower. Until the brain stops simulating reality and starts simulating fear. Overthinkers don't think too much. They think too deeply without boundaries. The paradox of control. Here's the irony. Overthinking feels like control, but it actually reduces control. Because the more you think, the more scenarios appear. The more uncertainty grows, the harder decisions become. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis. Your brain is searching for the perfect answer in a world that doesn't offer perfect information. So it loops, not because it's broken, but because it's trying to achieve something impossible. Certainty in an uncertain reality. Is overthinking linked to anxiety? Yes, very strongly. Overthinking and anxiety feed each other. Overthinking creates anxiety. Anxiety creates more overthinking. It becomes a feedback loop. This is why people with anxiety disorders often say, I can't turn my mind off, because anxiety is not just emotional, it's cognitive. It lives in thoughts, and the brain learns this loop over time. The more you repeat it, the more automatic it becomes. Can we stop overthinking? The goal is not to eliminate thoughts. That's impossible. The goal is to change your relationship with them. Modern psychology suggests 3 powerful techniques. PERM is metacognition, thinking about your thinking. Instead of, I am worried, you say, I am noticing a thought about worry. This creates distance between you and your mind. You stop being inside the thought and start observing it. 2. Externalization. Getting thoughts out of your head. Writing them down, speaking them out loud. When thoughts stay internal, they feel infinite. When they become external, they become finite. A thought on paper is no longer a monster, it's just a sentence. 3. Attention training. Redirecting focus to the body or senses. Breathing, walking, listening to sounds. Overthinking lives in the abstract future. Attention lives in the present. You can't overthink and be fully present at the same time. The deeper truth. Overthinking is not a flaw. It's a side effect of consciousness. Humans are the only species that, imagines the future, reflects on the past, questions their own thoughts. Which means overthinking is the price we pay for being self-aware, for having memory, for having imagination, for having meaning. The same brain that creates anxiety also creates article, philosophy, science, love. The problem is not that we think too much. The problem is that we forgot. There is something important to understand about the human mind. We evolved to live in slow environments, with physical movement, with silence, with natural rhythms. But today, most people live in constant stimulation, permanent connection, endless information, and very little mental rest. So it's not surprising that anxiety and stress are becoming more common. The modern brain is simply overloaded. This is where practices like meditation, yoga, and mindfulness become powerful tools. Not because they fix the mind, but because they train attention. Meditation, for example, teaches the brain to observe thoughts without reacting, return focus to the present moment, slow down internal dialogue. From a neurological perspective, regular meditation has been shown to reduce activity in stress-related brain areas, lower cortisol levels, improve emotional regulation. In simple terms, it helps the nervous system calm down. Yoga works in a similar way, but through the body, by combining controlled breathing, slow movement, physical awareness. Yoga sends a signal to the brain: you are safe. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for rest and recovery. The body relaxes, and the mind follows. Even simple habits can make a difference. Walking without your phone, focusing on your breath, spending time in silence, being present with your senses. These are not spiritual ideas. They are biological ones. They remind the brain that it doesn't need to be in survival mode all the time. Seeking help is not weakness. There is also something very important to say. Overthinking, anxiety, and stress are not personal failures. They are human experiences, and sometimes they become too heavy to handle alone. In those moments, seeking professional help is not weakness, it is maturity. Talking to a psychologist, therapist, or doctor is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you are taking your mental health seriously. Just like you would see a doctor for physical pain, it makes sense to seek help for mental pain. The brain is an organ, and it deserves care just like any other part of the body. There is no shame in asking for guidance. There is no shame in needing support. And there is no shame in taking medication if it's needed. Understanding the mind is not about being perfect, it's about learning how to live with it, with awareness, compassion, and responsibility. So next time your mind starts looping at night, and many thoughts are sticking and being repetitive, remember, your brain is not attacking you. It's trying to protect you, it just doesn't know when to stop. And maybe the real skill of being human is not controlling thoughts, but learning when to let them pass. So don't be hard on yourself. The human experience is very complex, and you are not alone in this. This is the whole beauty of the human experience. If everything is perfect, then how would you know it? If you never experience the sad moments as well. We are not our thoughts. We are the ones watching them. Don't forget to follow Curious Humans for more interesting content.